I think most of us are pretty picky what we put in our EDC bags or our get home bags. And you know, preppers have a lot of opinions on what they think is the best. You know, like for cordage, most preppers say you need to have paracord. For notebooks, most say you need to have Rite In The Rain notebooks. And why is that? Well, I wanted to compare Rite In The Rain with the Field notebook. Both of these are advertised as being indestructible, tear-proof, weatherproof, and even waterproof for writing. Now, is that true? I don't know. Let's do some tests and see what we find out. Both of these are bound with staples, supposedly rust-proof staples. I guess that's a good idea if you get them wet. Now, this is a little cheaper than this one. Now, both of these come in some exciting colors. I mean, I love this orange, and this yellow is pretty flashy too. And they also come in black and more of a neutral color. And I believe, I don't know if both of them come in, but I know at least one of them, the Field notebook, also has it more in a camel green color. So you can kind of then pick what color book you want for what you're using it for. And what do we use these for? Well, I suppose if you're on a scouting expedition and it starts raining hard and you need to write a note, you want to make sure you can. Most of us are not going to be on scouting expeditions, but maybe we're taking notes while we're backpacking or doing something else and oops, falls out into the creek. What's happened to our notes then? Have they disappeared or are they still there? Well, that's what we're going to find out with this test. So I have 4 writing implements to test these books. This is a Sharpie. This is a Rite In The Rain mechanical pen. This is a freebie ballpoint pen. And this is the Rite In The Rain. It's like the Fisher Space Pen, but not as sexy really. We're going to try all 4 of these in both of these books. So first off, in the Rite In The Rain. Okay, let's put in here Rite In Rain. Okay, Rite In Rain space. Next, let's try our mechanical pencil. Go. That went well. Now let's try our freebie ballpoint pen. Ballpoint pen. Works great. How about our Sharpie? And please don't critique my handwriting. It's one of the few things I ever got a C on in elementary school. So we have all 4 of these in here. Did they bleed through at all? Let's check that. Actually, there is slight bleeding with the Sharpie. Let's see about the Field book. Again. Let's open that up. So I am just going to call it Space Pen. Oh, no, I have to admit, it writes better, I think, on this paper than actually in the Rite In The Rain. Let's see about this. Mechanical pencil. Okay, I would say the pencil does not write as well in this. Ballpoint pen. Seems to be fine. Let's see what happens when we do the Sharpie. see if there was any bleed in this. Actually, there really wasn't any bleed in this. Oh no, that's surprising. Field notes, no bleed. But the Rite in the Rain, a bleed when you use a Sharpie. So in the back of the notebook, it tells you what it can be used for. So it says wet or dry, all pencils, Rite in the Rain pens, wax marker crayons, and oil pastels and paints. I guess it really doesn't mention Sharpies. Okay, for when dry, it says you can use permanent markers. Well, it's a Sharpie and standard ballpoints. It says what won't work is gel pens, most highlighters, fountain pens, watercolors, and acrylic paints. Gel pens won't work with either one, and unfortunately, that is my favorite writing implement. Now, the field book mentions that it works with any common ballpoint pen or regular lead pencil. It does not need a space pen or something special. So now I'm going to cut out these pages and we're going to soak them and see what happens. Now you might want to say, why are you going to cut them? Why can't you just tear them? Well, both of these are marketed as tear-proof, so I can't tear a page out. Now we're going to put in our Rite in the Rain page. Get it nice and wet. It just doesn't stay down. There we go, it's down at the bottom. And now let's do our field notebook. I'm going to leave them in the water for 15 minutes and then we'll come back and see how they did. Okay, now you'll notice that I have this paper, the Rite in the Rain, weighted down because it kept kind of flopping to the top where the field notebook stayed underwater just fine. Let's take this off. Now let's take this piece of paper off. And now let's test it. Let's first see. Yep, you still got the bleed through from the Sharpie, but otherwise fine. Now, wet space pen. Oh, this works great. We know this paper is wet. Mechanical pencil. Wet. Okay. This is the Rite in the Rain pencil, mechanical pencil. Does it work? Yes, but very, very light. A regular ballpoint pen. Ah, look at that. The regular freebie ballpoint pen worked just as good as a space pen. And then Sharpie, which is not recommended. Okay, Sharpie did not work well. But, you look at this, really, the regular ballpoint pen worked just as well as the space pen. And you notice the Sharpie is now changing to a purple color because of the wet. But it did not bleed through. Okay? Now, let's see our field notebook. The field notebook paper seems a little heavier. Let's try our space pen. Works terrible. Oh, Xander. So we have our wet space pen. Let's try our mechanical pencil. Again, very light, but it does work. Let's try our ballpoint pen. Wet. Okay, it worked and it didn't work. And again, problems with a Sharpie. I'm going to try the regular ballpoint pen one more time here. Wet. So it does not seem to have good coverage. Let's put these two side by side. This is definitely more, I'm going to say flimsy, but I don't want to, that's like judgmental. It's a thinner paper. This is a little thicker. So, we can see that really wet, Xander, excuse me, Xander's testing out the water here. Really wet, the Rite In The Rain does work better. And surprisingly, the freebie ballpoint pen worked just as well as the space pen. So, Xander, no. This is a bit disappointing. Okay. You can see my testing assistant has to get in everything and flick water all over. Now, when it's wet like this, can it tear easier? Oh, it sure can. So when it's wet, it tears. Let's see about the field notebook. It's still, you see, it still does not tear. So for truly, if you want to write on something wet, definitely the Rite In The Rain worked better. However, if you write normally on this and just get it wet, then the field notebook is just fine. Here's another problem if something gets wet. Okay? You see how it can crinkle up in that? It's really hard to do with this. This paper is much thicker and it's almost got like a waxy coating on it compared to this paper. Well, let's look at our results. For dry, the Rite In The Rain wrote well with a space pen, that ballpoint pen, the Sharpie, even though there was a bit of a bleed onto the other side, and the mechanical pencil. And it definitely was tear-proof. When you got it wet, things changed. The space pen and ballpoint pen actually worked very well. The Sharpie, not so much, and yes, it did smudge. And the mechanical pencil was very light. Was it tear-proof? Oh no, you could easily tear the wet Rite In The Rain. Now for the field notebook dry, the space pen, the ballpoint pen, the Sharpie, and the mechanical pencil all worked well. And the Sharpie didn't even bleed to the opposite page. And was it tear-proof? Yes, it was. When you got wet though, things changed. The space pen did not work. The ballpoint pen, somewhat, it skipped. Sharpie, no, it smudged. And the mechanical pencil, yes, but it was very light. And was it tear-proof? Yes, it was. So I guess it really depends on what you need your notebook for. If you want to write a note and post it to a tree so somebody else will see it, then the field notebook works great because it is not going to tear when it's rained upon and gets wet, and it keeps its shape, and anything written on it stays written on it when it's wet. But if you would have to write a note on very wet paper, or for some reason even underwater, then the Rite In The Rain notebook is your best bet. So in most cases, I think the field notebook will probably be just fine. And it's nice that it works with a regular ballpoint pen. The Rite In The Rain is really wanting you to get a space pen or their own pen to be able to write when it's completely wet. But interestingly enough, the ballpoint pen that I tried, which was a freebie, it was not a space pen or anything special, worked just fine in this notebook. So comment below, tell me what you prefer. or if you use something entirely different. This is Potpourri saying, please always share the This is Potpourri saying, please always share the knowledge, and thumbs up if you like this video. And if you want to receive notifications of future videos, just click that little bell below.